Ooh, hello, nighttime. Good evening, everybody. My name is Osa, and tonight we're playing a catch-up session of Farming Simulator 17 on Lawfolds, Aberdeenshire. And we have a lot of manure. But anyway, let's see what everything is doing today. It's late on a Saturday evening, and that looks like we should probably be setting this thing up for a little bit of cultivating. Oh, that was on. So, off you go, dude. So, since last week I finished the foraging on this field, which is just to the left west of the main farm. So we need to get this cultivated and then set the other tractor off on a, let's get out of the way, seeding the ground. We'll throw down some oilseed radish. Now I'm probably going to put cereal in this, and there's not going to be enough time for the oilseed radish to grow, get ploughed in, and plant a regular crop. What's that? Oh, that's the forage we dropped. Oops. And we will run over here and go and get ourselves our other tractor. Park that down the bottom of the field. Okay, where is my other tractor? Huh. Where is my other tractor? Did I already park it over there? No. Oh yeah. I already parked it out there. So I'm going to let the cultivator run for a while, and then we'll come back in the meantime. So that's there. Hopefully that's not in the way. Yes. That's the cow feeding tractor. Oh, yes indeed. That's one of the things I was planning to do. Meanwhile, so that's our other 940, and we'll let him go for a bit. Started that off. So we should have this thing. Actually, a sec. Okay, I'm not going to break the steering lock. Which side does this tip? Other side, okay. And I also leased this much larger trailer, because frankly the small one was just getting on my nerves. Oops, wrong way. And this particular trailer will take 2 unloads of the high tip. Okay, I'll set that off on a second load, but we are a little bit stuck here up at the BGA. Probably also unload a few bales into that thing as well. I knew I'd find a good use for the Zerion. And yeah, it's the biggest, heaviest tractor I have. And there's also four-wheel steering, so I should be able to do an entire U-turn at the end of the bar. Ugh. And yeah, we just got stuck. The truck is having huge problems running over this pit now. Could probably have a little bit more success with possibly a tractor and tipper, but maybe not much. How much have we got in there right now? Can't tell. But we're up to 490,000. Probably get a little bit better performance if I bought some what's it, leveling blades. But if I can get this relatively level, the truck will have less issues. Oh, that's actually getting low enough to drive over. That's awesome. Unfortunately, I am bleeding a lot of chaff out the front and back end of this bunker. Probably means I'll have to bring the Valtra T up here in order to shift the chaff at the ends. So 7 o'clock in the evening. It is due to rain tomorrow. So I can leave chaff in the tipper with the cover over it, but I'm going to have to make sure the high-tip trailers are empty, or the high-tip trailer is empty. That's working quite nicely. 50-odd% as well. Oh. Looks like the chrome's done. Or is it? What the heck? Oh. He got stuck on a fence. No. What is his problem? He got stuck on a fence. Okay. Yes, made it. And worker, go. That is pretty much done here. As you can see from that angle, the tipper runs quite a long way back from the cab. Because this cab runs kind of secondary duties as a... Oh, okay, I can follow you. And we'll stop there. Turn the helper off. I'm also not tipping off the edge of the map either. Or off the edge of the truck. Oh, crud, we're full. Okay, let's start that up again. We are going to need some lights. Well, I wasn't planning to do a trip up to the BGA, but we will. Don't think this route's unopen at the moment. Oh, yes it is. Yep, I do Lawfolds. I usually do it on Saturday, but because we had 6 kids and it was Easter, this is the Lawfolds makeup session. And good evening, Jeremy. And the prime aim of this one is to finish the cow breeding. The cow breeding ain't going to happen until summer, so we're going to be doing a lot of farming between now and then. Actually, not so much. We've got the entirety of winter to run through. Easter was crowded and kind of loud. We had our 2 current foster kids, the 3 former foster kids, and their elder sister, because Mum worked on Friday and there was no daycare. So that was kind of a problem. Okay, we'll park this over here. Jump back to the truck. Where's the truck? Very carefully. I think I'm going to tip this on the right side here. Come on. Oh. Push the wrong pair of buttons. Yes, I'm thinking so too. I'm very much looking forward to seasons. I forgot how much I got spoiled. I mean, I've got 550 hours on this map now. And it's almost a sort of a relaxing way of farming because you're not constantly rushed off your feet. One of the problems I had on Mercury Farms over the last 2 playing sessions, I play about an hour and a half a time, was I'd pretty much got everything ready and I had one field that was ready to harvest. Or no, what was it? No, I had one field that would be ready to harvest the next morning. So I went to sleep and I woke up the next morning. The field was ready to harvest and there were weeds on every single one of my fields. So I lost production on that field through no fault of my own, just that the weeds happened to grow at exactly the same time as the field matured ready to harvest. So that was a pain in the butt. The problem was the next day it was raining. And it rained all day. So it got to night time and I hadn't been able to harvest anything because it had rained all day. And when I woke up the next morning, the crop was all withered. And so not only had I lost production on the crop because of the weeds, I actually lost the entire crop because of the rain. Now the rest of my fields, I did have sufficient time to get out there and weed the weeds before they all went ready to harvest. But I went and bought a weeder because you think, yeah, okay, buy a weeder, we'll be fine. Except I got back to the fields and found, well, actually I didn't need a weeder because the fields were all second stage. Oh, did I not? I thought I turned the worker off. There we go. Yeah, the weeds that had grown overnight was all 2 stages, so I had to get rid of the weeder and get myself a sprayer and put herbicide down, and that annoyed me as well. No, but the weeds are going to be a little bit more friendly, I think. Plus everything slowed down. Well, also in theory, the other thing they can do with weeds in seasons is, I think, who was it? There was one guy I was watching who was basically saying that you plant your field, it grows one level, and then you put herbicide down to kill all the weeds that are on the field. And then from that point onwards, as the crop grows, it's throttling the weeds because it's higher than the weeds are. I can turn that off and jump back to the Zerion, wherever that is. There it is. So there's ways to deal with weeds, and you just have to put herbicide down at the right point. But if you do put herbicide down at the right point, that should be the only treatment you need for the entire year. But obviously, the other thing with seasons is it takes 3 days, 6 days, 9 days, whatever you set it to run a season. So I'm playing 6-day seasons, so I've got 6 days to plant or prepare the fields and get them planted. I've got 6 days of summer in which to do my 3 stages of fertilisation. Obviously, 2 in Farm Sim 19, and you've got 6 days to harvest it all. Except I've had rain every day this harvest, except for the very last day is currently predicted. So I'm still rushed off my feet when the ground's not wet. I'm harvesting. So long as you deal with weeds at the right point, you don't have to worry about weeds for the rest of the growth stage. Now you probably have to deal with insects, which isn't in Farm Sim. And obviously when the crop's flowering, you probably want at least some insects around because they're germinating the crops. But some insects you don't want because they're eating the crops. And good evening, Hail Team. Thanks for the cheers. And good to be back in the seat again. I had kind of a restful weekend when I wasn't being overrun by kids. So how's our compacting coming? Oh, we're up to 60% already. And the harvester's full. Darn. Park this over the right here. That's probably compact enough, at least for now. Oh, it's that thing that's beeping. I don't think that worked out particularly well. Let's try that again. That's better. And hopefully we won't pour this all over the floor. That's good. And there's other changes as well coming up, of course. I will set that off now. What, the high-tip trailer? Yeah. I can't remember who suggested it, but brilliant idea, and it does work in Farm Sim 17. I think for the forage harvesters that have proper tow bars, you can use exactly the same method in 19 as well. And if they don't, well, now, and also remember in 19, now that you have, Follow Me, you can do a tractor hauled high tip trailer behind or alongside the forager, and then when that trailer's full, you can bring something like this alongside and high tip out of that, and you wouldn't have the problem with the forage header getting in your way. Helper B has completed their task. Oh, that would be the cultivator? No? Okay. Forager has become blocked. Let's jump back to it. Oh, wait. Oh, it's full. Okay. It's not blocked, it's full. So we'll run up here. And this time I'll run to about here and unload. We'll drive very, very slowly. Okay, and close the gate. This is about as tricky as driving an ATS truck, because obviously it's got quite a long wheelbase. As I said, secondary duty is a semi-truck. Primary duty is the AR frame system. Getting late now. And I'm not going to close up that bunker until the last cut of the year grass is done, which will happen in 2 days' time. Discord is relatively painless to set up. You shouldn't have too much problems with that. Truckers MP is probably more difficult. Okay. And tuck in behind the header. Yeah, I would have considered getting another one of the other tippers. This one's only 12. No, that's the one I got. So that's 28. So I got one of the bigger ones, and then after that you're getting into this sort of level. Now I can't use one of those to travel to the BGA because these don't work well with the BGA bunkers. Bunkers are a little bit narrow, but I would have liked to have been able to get away with using one of those, but there's no semi-trailer that's as big as this tipper, or as big as that tipper. Okay, let's start the engine. Oh my goodness. Let's select the harvester, then it'll work. And we'll go and finish all this bit off. Cultivating. Oh, cultivating is finished. I'll run down this edge of the field so that we get a clean turnabout. And we'll set this back on autopilot. Wow. Yeah, I can do that. Assuming we make it to the end of the field. Yeah, that should work. So I might be starting a late ATS on Thursday because we have some concert at preschool or kindergarten, one of the two, on Thursday this week. Now this thing's beeping too. I don't know. I don't know what the beeping's about. We've only got room for 7,000 more. So off you go. I think you need to find our cultivator dude.